Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 201, season 2 of Sky Blue Fans TV. My name's Mark Smith. Tonight I'll be talking about the fantastic 3-0 win at Loftus Road against Queen's Park Rangers. We'll cover that between now and 8 o'clock. And in part 2 of the show, we'll be previewing our game at Ewood Park on Wednesday night. Joining us will be Ian Herbert from BRCS, who will give us the lowdown on the Blackburn Rovers. Okay, introduce a few guests, usual regulars. Introduce you first, Miles. Miles, welcome to the show. You all right?
Good evening, Mark. Yes, happy as you can be.
Yeah, I think it's been a glorious weekend, and also as a cricket fan, delighted that Warwickshire won the cricket as well. But we're not talking cricket, we're talking football, so I won't bore you with that. Joining Miles, we've got Kenneth. Ken.
Yes, good evening, everybody. How are we all?
Cool.
After a fantastic weekend down in London.
Yeah, it's a localish game for me, being from down south, so I enjoyed it immensely yesterday. But we'll talk more about it in a minute. Last but not least, she's on for 30 minutes. Victoria, we can't see, but she is definitely on. Vicky, how are we doing? Can you hear us?
Good evening, Mark.
Yes,
you all right?
Hear us good. Yeah, very good. Thanks. I'm very pleased about yesterday and everything else. Okay, let's crack on. Let's talk about yesterday's game. Before we go to the game, Mark Robbins named the 11. One change from the game against Watford. Jake Bidwell started in place of Wilson Esbrand. Went with 2 up front with God and Gyökeres. I think, are we all in agreement that was probably the right side? Would you have gone any different to that at the start of the game? Question for anyone.
Anyone? When I seen the team, I thought maybe Esbrand might have started because he had a very good game last week against Watford on Monday. But then when you think about it, with the size of the pitch that QPR have got, Esbrand likes to stay out really wide, so he draws players away from their back three, but he pulls wide and he pushes forward a little bit more. So maybe it was the right decision playing Bidwell, where it's a bit of a narrower pitch and Bidwell doesn't really play that wide. So maybe obviously it was the right thing to do, because we went and won the game 3-0 and quite comfortably, to be honest with you. But I'm happy with the way he picked the team, and and it proved it on the day, didn't it?
Yeah. I probably would have gone with that team. I think, it's a good comment I think you make about the pitch, because Loftus Road is not like the CBS Arena where it's a bigger pitch and a wider pitch. Loftus Road is a tight ground, so yeah, I get the logic there. Anyone disagree with the 11, or would you have gone differently, or we all agree?
No, I thought I quite agreed with it. I think I got it. I think he got it right. He got his tactics right yesterday as well, and I thought the team selection was spot on. To be fair, and it worked.
Stability, doesn't he? He's much more. He's a more defensive minded, and he gives you that stability to. So we went down there, shored up, and I think Wilson Esbrand is the sort of player that's quite good to be able to send on quite late in the game. Like when QPR defenders are tiring, they don't really want to be facing him late on in the game, do they? So that's an exciting option to bring on, I think. So I agree with the rest of you. I think that was a spot on team selection.
Yeah. We got off to the perfect start, obviously, after about 10 minutes with the goal from Gyökeres. A great pass from Gustavo Hamer to pick out Gyökeres. And I think I was sitting in the stand, I was thinking, one-on-one, sometimes it either goes in with Vic or it doesn't. I can't always hang my hat on it being a goal. But I think looking at the goal, it looks like it goes just under the keeper's arm. So it got a little bit of luck there, but I don't really care. It's in the back of the net. But it was a perfect start, wasn't it? Because it was a sort of game where, for me, I said 1-1 in the last show because I'm a bit negative, as you'll know. But it's never easy playing against a side near the bottom. So I thought, to get that early goal, it really got the confidence going. And when it doesn't take much to get their crowd on their players' back. So it was the perfect start, and it was a good move, wasn't it? I mean, Miles, what was your thoughts on the goal?
Yeah, I mean, I was probably in the same boat as you, because at Swansea, Hamer missed a one-on-one, and maybe we should have come away with the 3 points. But Vic, I think when you're coming up against a team where he had a lot of time on the ball with that one on on Saturday. The way Hamer laid it into him, it was lovely pace on the ball. It was just right for him to run onto it. There was no defender near him, and all he's got to do is slot it in. I mean, when you think about it, we always say that he should just lift it over the keeper like he did against Huddersfield, and but he finished it off, and he's just done the business, to be honest with you. And it's just given us. We knew it was important to get the first goal. We knew how important that was, and if we got the first goal, we knew we'd go on and win that game, because QPR, when we got the first goal, their body language just changed completely. They just didn't look at the races at all. They didn't look a team. They had one chance in the first half, right at the death, with Ben Wilson. Just what a superb save to go in at 1-0 at half time. But yeah, the way Victor took it was absolutely superb. And if it goes under the keeper, it goes under the keeper. Maybe then the keeper should have done better than he did, shouldn't he? But yeah, fantastic. What a lad. And that put him on 19 goals for the season going into half time. So it's just superb.
I just thought it was important to get that early goal as well, wasn't it, to settle down?
Definitely.
And it certainly got us in control of the game a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Well in control of the game. I thought Hamer in the first half was so good in the first half. I mean, the referee, to be honest with you, I thought lost the plot in the first half. And we go on about it each week, but I don't get some of the decisions, and we were stood there and we thought someone's going to lose their rag in a minute. It's going to be Hamer, but he didn't. He kept his calm. He kept his cool, and when he picked up that ball and ran over the halfway line with it and just laid it off to Victor, it was just you've got to be banging them in, and we're always on about it, aren't we? We're always on about him to just bang it, and he banged it, and it went in the back of the net. So happy days. He just absolutely started the day off lovely.
I thought after the goal, I just felt as the half wore on, I thought we were a bit sloppy in possession. That was my view. I felt like we gave the ball away too easily. Okay, they didn't really QPR, in all honesty, didn't give us too much for alarm. But if you look back on the first half, the save from Wilson was obviously an excellent save right at the end of the first half. I think it was Elias Chair, the free kick. Although I think Wilson redeemed himself because he was a poor kick from him, which then led to the free kick, and he makes a good save. But Vicky, was you ever concerned with 1-0? Did you feel a bit nervous, or was you quite confident, thinking we're going to win this game 2 or 3-0 as it ended up?
I think more in the second half, whilst we were playing better, because I agree with you. I think we did get a bit sloppy towards the end of the first half, and they were building up a little bit of a head of steam, building up that free kick, and I thought we needed half time really just to sort of reset again. I mean, I think that we were more the author of our own problems, because QPR offered very little. I mean, they were poor, weren't they? You can see why they've spiralled down the table, because they were just poor. But we were giving them chances, I suppose, and if and a better team in better form was to take some of those chances, we'd give the ball away, then they'd pass it out for a throw into us. You just think, no, wouldn't you? Down the bottom of the table, we're giving you a chance to get back into the game, and you can't even pass to one of your own players. It's just crazy. But I didn't feel so much nervous then. I felt more nervous towards the end when it gets about 80 minutes, because you're thinking QPR have offered nothing, but we've only got the 1-goal lead, and all it takes is one breakaway. So at that point, I was getting a little bit edgy, just thinking, like, these don't deserve anything from this game. Like, we deserve the 3 points. So it was a relief that we got that nice second goal, and then we could just enjoy the end. So I was getting a little bit edgy, and I know a few people around me, we were all saying, just want that second goal to kill the game off, really. So
yeah. I heard Clive Aiken on BBC CWR. I think he said something like on the long lines of, I think we were bottom around October, and QPR near the top.
Yeah.
And now obviously it's, not quite gone full reverse, but it's almost has to an extent. It's just amazing how a team, if you look at the players they've got, QPR, it's pretty much the same sort of set of players that have got them to, just outside the playoffs. They looked a team really, really devoid of confidence, no cohesiveness, lots of misplaced passing that went out for throw-ins. I mean, to me, it looked like Sunday morning football. It was pretty poor, really. And in my opinion, I just felt I'd have liked to score that second goal a bit sooner, but I thought for me, QPR look a team going down. In my opinion, they don't look a team for me that show any real fight. They were pretty poor for me. I think they're probably. I mean, I've only been to about 8 away games this season, but they're easily the worst team I've seen this season. They were shocking.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
they offered anything, did they? Really,
No.
they didn't really create many chances at all, apart from the set pieces. That's the only danger, really. They were to us. To be fair, I can't remember any clear opportunities they created. To be honest.
Well,
I think the first half they finished off the first half really, really well, and then coming out in the second half they carried on that confidence. I think they played about 5-10 minutes in the first half, where they sort of tried to push us on a little bit. As you said, we sat back a little bit, but I think they carried on that confidence in the second half. And in the first 5 minutes, Ben Wilson had to do it again, and did a fantastic save. Okay, it was straight at him, but the power of the ball going straight at him, he had to parry it away, and he parried it away in such a way that it didn't fall to another QPR player, which was lucky. And he really did well in that situation. But after that, I don't think QPR created anything, to be honest with you. There was a few shots went over the bar, and then, as you said about loose passes, I mean, was it Dunn at the back? Is it Dunn at the back for them? He was spraying the ball left and right, and it was just going out for a throw in. And you think, blimey, your confidence,
they've done a few of them.
Got to be shot. Yeah, your confidence is well shot. If you're playing shots like that and you're still only 1-0 down, passes like that, sorry, and you're only 1-0 down, their confidence has got to be shot completely. Because, I mean, we know what it's like. We've been there. We know as fans, we know as COV fans what it's like. You know, six years ago on Friday, we were relegated to League Two. You know, and that season we looked absolutely dreadful. You knew we weren't climbing out of it. You knew we were going down. You knew we were destined to go down. The team, even the players that we had, the team just wasn't clicking. And something's happening at QPR. And we asked the question on Thursday night. Something behind the scenes is happening at QPR that no one could put the finger on. And for the club not to tell the fans about injuries and things, that proves something's going on behind the scenes. Because you look at our team, Mark Robbins in his press conferences straight away after a game, he's telling Winchy that, you know, that what the injury is, or, you know, he's telling everyone straight away that, oh, he's out for a season, or we're just going to get him x-rayed, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then he tells you what the injury is. QPR, they're not telling the fans anything. So something is not right at that club. And you could see it on the pitch on Saturday, that, especially in the second half, I thought after the first 5-10 minutes of the second half, we absolutely dominated them because they had to come at us. But I just think there's something not quite right at QPR, and we took advantage of it. And I think we said on the coach on the way back, we said, normally that's a banana skin for us. You know, we come up against a team bottom of the table, near the bottom of the table, and we're fighting for, you know, to push up the table. And we normally slip up, don't we? We would normally lose that 1-0 or 2-1 or something stupid. But Saturday, we looked completely different to what we did at Swansea, and we looked completely different to what we did in the first half at Watford. I thought Swansea, we were very nervous. The fans were really nervous. I was definitely nervous at Swansea. I was literally, I could have bit every single nail off my hands at Swansea, because we knew and we know how close we are to those playoffs. And because it took 5 hours to get there, the fans were in a mood. They weren't jolly at Swansea. It was really quiet. But Saturday, I've seen comments today. I've seen videos. I've seen QPR fans saying how fantastic we were on Saturday, that it was like as if we were at home. It was like a home atmosphere. It's like we were at home on Saturday. And the QPR fans have said, we're the best fans that's ever been to their stadium. And, you know, at the end of the day, we've gone and done the job, and we're that close. We're that close. It's just we're that close.
I think confidence is a big thing, isn't it? And if you know, and QPR are lacking confidence obviously at the minute. They've got some good players, you know, in their team. There's no doubt about that, but they're just lacking confidence. And I say, as Miles said, we've been there. We know what it's like to be down there struggling. and that's just they need results ASAP, and they just haven't got the confidence at the minute. I don't think, unfortunately, they have to do something desperate to try and get out of the situation they're in. Otherwise, they will go down.
Well,
I think the other thing is as well, when you've got a team that's under confidence like they are, they're not playing very well. They've got a good support for being in West London. They've got a real good support, because don't forget they're up against Spurs, they're up against Brentford, they're up against Chelsea. They've got a real good support. But I think if this was us and we had a stadium like that and we were struggling, our fans would sing 90 minutes. We'd get behind the team. We'd, like the players say to us, at the forums, or they say to us when they see you on the street or whatever. The fans are key, and we are the 12th man for them players. And the problem I think another problem you got at home with QPR, they don't sing. They didn't sing.
No,
there was no.
Yeah, I didn't hear
they
them.
don't sing. It was like that last season, and they beat us 2-0 last season.
Yeah,
and when they scored, the early time they sang, when they scored, they played a song, which is the song they come out to of the tunnel, and they started singing then, and that was it. They didn't sing for the rest of the game, and I think when you've got a team lacking confidence like QPR, you've got to get the fans behind you. You've got to have like us, like we do. I mean, you hear us. I mean, we were absolutely, and we were 2 tiers yesterday, and that splits the fans up. But we were still loud. And QPR, if they want to get out of it, the fans are going to have to get behind them, because they're not going to win a game with the fans not being behind them. They're just not going to do it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I was in the top tier. You were in the bottom tier, weren't you, Miles? I was in the top, and it's non-stop singing, and we could hear the ones below us singing as well. It's just non-stop. Whatever tier you're in, whether you're above or below, it was just, the atmosphere was brilliant. It was really, and it's a nice tight little ground where the atmosphere the sound stays in, and it's good. Really old-fashioned ground, isn't it? And it's one you don't see many these days. Nobody go to normal, like, modern stadiums. You don't get little old-fashioned grounds like QPR very often, and in the Championship anyway. And it was good. It was good. It was good for atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, we need QPR to do us a favour next game, because they've got Norwich on midweek. So it'd be nice if QPR can get a win and break that hoodoo, because that will help us out. I thought, the only chance they really had QPR in that sort of second half was that shot from Sam Field, which was well saved by Wilson at Blight. It was straight at Wilson, but Wilson was there at the right place at the right time and managed to parry it away. But other than that, they really... It's just one of them games where I was sitting in the stand thinking we should win this 1-0, but the longer it goes 1-0, I'm getting more and more edgy, as Vicky alluded to earlier, and I was just like, we've got to get the second goal. But we to be fair, I thought we defended really well in that game. And
I thought Doyle was excellent. Yes, I thought Doyle. He's turning into such a player, isn't he, Doyle? We'll be watching him playing for England in a few years, thinking, we played a part in his development, because he is such a player.
He's quality, yeah, absolutely. We've got some comments, Miles, from the audience.
I just want to bring this one in. This is the first one I want to bring in, because I'm always on about the squad size, and we know teams like QPR and everyone, they've got about 31, 32 man squad. We've got a 21 man squad now, and he says with the squad size, are we capable of the playoffs run if we get into 6th?
It just depends on injuries, doesn't it? It just depends on injuries, doesn't it?
Look at Luton. Luton Town is a similar sort of squad to us. They haven't got a big squad, and look where they are. But they've been very lucky with injuries, haven't they? We've been very unlucky, I think, with injuries this season. So, you can do it, but you need a little bit of luck along the way, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, Jamie might be coming back as well. There's rumours that he might be coming back, because Robin said on Friday it was just bad bruising, wasn't it? So he might be back, or maybe. Possibly Reading, maybe. I wouldn't have thought he'd be back for Blackburn, but maybe Reading's a possibility.
Reading, possibly.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Glenn's coming. Good evening, Glenn. Don't know what was more entertaining yesterday, the win or Will King's social media content. Yeah, it was pretty good, actually. And managed to...
You spoke to him briefly, didn't you?
Chat with him. Only a quick chat. Yeah. He recognised us to come over. Yeah. The loon. He's absolutely mental, isn't he? What we got here, Paul Hughes. Good evening, all. Brilliant win. Hamer was incredible. he just gets better and better. PUSB, yeah, he was man of the match by far, wasn't he? Really, I thought Amy yesterday.
Yeah, he was. He's back to his best, weren't he? Back to his best.
Yeah. Oh,
I think that was one of the. I mean, apart from Vic, I think that was one of the key differences yesterday. Sheaf, Hamer, and Eccles in midfield. I mean, they were just excellent, weren't they? And they just were a level above anything that QPR could offer. So, I mean, Hamer's like Paul said, just getting better and better. I mean, if that's even possible.
Oh, I lost it.
Yeah,
we're so lucky, I think, really.
Definitely lucky to have Aimer. I know that. Assassins Unite, Good King, Sky Blue Army. Cov Andy's gone. Evening all. We're on our way. What else we got? Will and Doug King are superb. Glenn's come in again and said QPR were so poor, but we never looked safe until the second goal, and we're nearly covened that up. Covered that up. I thought we were all right. I thought we were going to win that all day long, especially after the first goal. Evening, guys. What an amazing win for the Sky Blues yesterday. Everyone's just congratulating on this. There is one here. Let me just bring this one in. I like this one. Where has it gone? I've lost it. Oh, here we go. Feta D. Don't know about you four or other viewers, but I'm so nervous about Wednesday night.
Well, I watched I watched Blackburn when we came back from London. I watched the Blackburn game, and they obviously drew 0-0 with Hull, but then they looked very average. They didn't look anything special.
I think they have for a while. I don't know what's going on there. They've gone a bit.
I don't think we got anything to fear, to be honest. I think if we go there with a positive manner, I think we can win that game. I really do. I think we got just as good players as them, probably better in some departments. So, I don't see any reason why we can't win it.
I'm more nervous about doing the live stream. Claudio's coming here. He's gone because everyone in the top 10 seems to be playing each other. They can't all get 3 points each match. 4 wins is definitely playoffs. He says 4 wins. I said yesterday 3.
Yeah, I suppose it's so tight up there. It's so tight, really. People say 70 points, 71 points is the cut-off. I think we've got to look for 71 myself, to be on the safe side, I think. So, it all depends on the others. And we know we've seen some strange results, haven't we? Anything can happen in this league.
I think from what Feta said, we're all going to be much more nervous on May the 8th, aren't we, at Middlesbrough? That's going to be the one where there's going to be some fingernail bites, I suspect.
Yes, definitely.
I
think
Danny, go on, Matt.
I was going to say, I mean, if we can get to Middlesbrough with something to play for, I think that would be great. I think that's all we can ask for as supporters, though, isn't it? Because we don't want to be in a position where we get to Middlesbrough and it's too late and we can't get in the top 6. So I think it's all to play for. I think we can beat Blackburn actually in midweek. I don't think I know they're above us in the league, but then, as you said, nothing to fear. I think we needed that win yesterday to get a bit of momentum. So now we're going to Blackburn with a good win at QPR, and we shouldn't fear them. I think we can go there and get a result. So there you go.
Well, we're the team in form, aren't we? They were above us because they started better and we had a difficult start to the season. But we're the team hitting now in the form, and Blackburn in the team. And you always get a team like that, don't you? Blackburn have been near the top like most of the season, but they're the team that are just losing form at the wrong time, and they're the team that you can really just say missing out because they're just going to finish the season too poorly, I think. And so I think we've got nothing to fear going up there. We're the team in the right spot, really. We're winning. If we lost one in something, is it 12
14.
now? 14.
1 in 14.
Yeah. So I mean, we're the right team, aren't we? And so I think we can get 9 points out of the next 3 games, and then go up to Middlesbrough with it all to play for. And that's just exciting, isn't it? Like Miles said, 6 years ago, we were in the depths of despair. Just to be thinking that now, we've got so happy.
So happy. Well, here's a nice question. Love this one. Comment, sorry, Danny Drury. He watched the live stream yesterday. Good evening, Danny. 2 good goals from Vic. Yeah, very good goals. We have got one, courtesy of Ken.
We've got the third one, which is the upper view. This is the upper view from the upper tier, which we couldn't see the goal post very well from where we were, but I think we certainly seen it go in the back of the net.
All right, let's bring it up. Hold on then. Let's hide that comment. Here we go.
Yeah, just saying that little lad you heard screaming there was the mascot for the day. His name was Jet Greer, and I know his dad very well. There he is coming out. We told him to clap the fans as he come out, and he did. Fair play to him. There's a picture of him coming out the tunnel, and he gave us the clap. And he had a brilliant day, and he said QPR looked after him really well, and all the COF players got all the autographs and everything, and they were brilliant. So he had a great day, and he was a lucky mascot for us, I think.
Cool.
We've got the next guest, I think, ready and waiting. So should we go for a quick ad break?
Yeah.
Cool. Welcome back, everyone. Joining us is Ian Herbert from BRCS. Ian, good to have you. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Yes, lovely to be here.
Good stuff. So, obviously, we're playing you on Wednesday night. Blackburn going into this game, one win in the last 6 games. Are you concerned by the recent form at the moment with Rovers?
Yes. How can I say anything other than yes? We really struggled in recent weeks. I liken us to, you see sometimes grainy footage of Olympic Games back in the 20s and the 30s, and they show the marathon, and there's it's like weedy bloke who comes into the stadium for the last lap, and then all these people overtake him on the final bend. That feels like us right now. I think we've hit the wall, and we need to find some inspiration from somewhere to sort of like rekindle the end of the season. Our run-in was I think the most difficult by league position of our opponents, our final 5 opponents. So in some ways, you could look at that and sort of say, well, we're playing the teams around us, we're playing our rivals, we should raise our game. But the way we played over Easter, I think, has left us with some concerns, to put it mildly. You're playing us at a good time, let's put it that way.
Yeah, because Huddersfield, I think he was 2-0 down at Huddersfield, and he managed to get a late goal in 90-something minutes to equalise. Yesterday against Hull City was a 0-0 draw. I mean, I did see a brief sort of highlights of it. I could see
it's a very brief highlights, I think, from that game.
Yeah. Ben Beretta-Diaz had a shot which went straight at the goalkeeper, and I think Tyrese Dolan missed a decent chance as well. Yeah. And Hull had a very good chance where I think he's kind of one-on-one, and his left foot shot went just wide of the post. And I mean, to be fair, Hull are a sort of side that they have taken points off teams in and around the playoffs. So I mean, they took points. They took points off us this season as well. Would there be any changes to the side ahead of this game on Wednesday night? Any suspensions? Any injuries that to report that you know of?
Well, we played. You mentioned the Huddersfield game. We started off dominating the game for the first 15 minutes. So the side that he picked for that game, he thought, right, we're in control here. For once, we're on the front foot. This is great. Then they attacked and scored. He thought, well, that can happen to the best of teams. Never mind, let's stick at it. Then they attacked for a second time and scored. He thought, hang on a minute, this is the team that I would have picked. What's going wrong here? In the second half, in all fairness, I think we had 81% of the possession. We had something like 35 shots. It was it was ridiculous one-way traffic. And it was one of those where you just mightily relieved to get an equaliser. So you thought, right, we've got some momentum, not the best of results, but a great second half performance. And what does he do last night? But he tweaks the team, tweaks the formation. And it seemed that how we ended on a strong, powerful note at Huddersfield then sort of like dissipated. So what he'll do ahead of Wednesday, your guess is as good as mine, frankly. I wouldn't imagine there'll be wholesale changes. We've not really got that many options, in fairness. I think most of the debate centres around our midfield. We have a very talented young lad called Adam Wharton, who's 18, who clearly has lots and lots and lots of ability. But for whatever reason, whatever John Dahl sees in training during the week, he's not convinced that he's quite ready. But he picked him against Huddersfield, and he played really well. And so he dropped him last night and changed the midfield, and it just seemed really flat. Wharton, I think, is one of those. He makes things happen. He plays the ball quickly, very rarely takes two touches, really moves it, and it brings speed and momentum to our attacks. Anybody who wasn't a Blackburn or Hull fan who sat through that last night, well, first of all, congratulations, you deserve a medal. But you would not have seen us attacking with impetus or pace. You would not have seen us really truly frightening the opposition, except in a couple, the Dolan instance that you mentioned, and we had some pressure late on, but it was pressure as opposed to clear-cut chances. So it's it's a bit alarming. Rovers fans of a certain vintage have been down this road before, and last night I think was one of those games. I think I've seen that game at least 15 times this season, where we sort of like start slowly, carry on slowly, don't create anything, and so on and so on and so on.
Yeah. Got a question here from Robert Manson about Hyam. How do you feel Dominic Hyam has settled in at Blackburn? Do Blackburn feel they've got steel when they signed him? Has he done the business for Rovers this season?
Yeah, I'm going to say absolutely categorically positive, and then I'm going to add a caveat right at the end. When he came, I think we had a number of people who delved into the Coventry City forums and had looked for commentary, and it seemed that you were genuinely quite disappointed that he'd gone, and absolutely gutted that he'd gone for the fee that was purported that we paid. I mean, who knows quite what that was. But yeah, we didn't. I think it's fair to say there are some enthusiastic followers of the Championship amongst our fan base, and they were all raving about his stats and this, that, and the other. And very much, I watched the highlights on a Saturday night on TV, and that's pretty much it for other teams. I'm concentrating on my team. So it was one of those. I love these sorts of signings that come out of the blue, or in this instance, out of the sky blue. You don't really know what to expect. You're not really sure. There's no reputation, nothing to live up to. Well, we'll judge him when he plays. And he settled in really, really, really well, I have to say. We do a man of the match poll on brfcs.com after every game, and he's up there. He's absolutely he's a strong candidate for player of the season. So far, so good. Then Scotland called him up. And the last 2 or 3 games, he's just introduced some jitters. There's just been a couple of instances where he made a couple of mistakes at home to Norwich on Good Friday. He touched the ball twice in the opening 5 minutes, and on both occasions gave it away. And you're thinking, hang on a minute, if Tom Hyam's not on it today, that doesn't bode well. And then he sort of last night he got caught in possession a couple of times and gave the ball away. We played this sort of like knock it around at the back, Manchester City light kind of thing to try and create space. And he kept finding their central midfielder time and time again. So I will say he's been terrific for us, absolutely terrific. Great to have him on board, just what we needed at the time. But if every time he goes to Scotland and trains in Scotland, he comes back with the jitters, then we need to stop him going and training alongside the Scottish team, I think.
Yeah. I've got another question from actually Vicky's just been on the show just a minute ago about Diaz. heard there's been some fans booing Diaz yesterday. Has he gone from hero to villain? Is he actually out of contract after this season? Is he actually?
Yeah, he's going to leave us in the summer. I think that's the worst kept secret in football. Right, let's try and give a balanced view here. He came with a big fee that was nothing to do with him. Had a terrible start to his career with Rovers. He looked like Bambi on ice for a lot of those early games. And there were a number of fans, myself included, who thought, this lad's just not going to make it. We've seen, for those, of a certain vintage, I remember spending a lot of money on a forward from Southampton called Kevin Davis, who was supposed to be the next big thing. And then he ended up going to Bolton and becoming a terrific Premier League striker. And he's sort of thinking, this is what's going to happen here. We're going to sell him for £1 million to somebody, and he's going to come back and haunt us. This is what's going to happen. And then out of nowhere, I don't know if you know the story, but there's a movie in it. His Chilean mother was picked up, and there was a campaign in Chile to get him in the squad. I think they watched the championship highlights or whatever, and seeing that there's this big physical forward, get Ben Brereton playing for Chile. So he gets called up in the summer, spends the summer away with the Chilean national team, comes back, he's a different player.
Yeah.
Correlation or causation, who knows? I think there must have been something about being away with an international squad, boosting his confidence. I think he's very much a confidence player. And he came back, and that season, he was unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable. Last season, he was very, very good, but he couldn't quite live up to the reputation he carved for himself the previous season, but he was still very good. And then it became abundantly clear he wasn't going to sign another contract. He wanted to go. And as I say, it's been the worst kept secret around the club. I think that Villarreal is supposed to be the club that's pursuing him. Now, I, for one, can't hold it against a lad of his age. If he wants to test him out and he wants to go to a Spanish-speaking country, given that he's playing for Chile, it will give him a greater profile. I would much rather he did that than sign for, without wishing to be a disparaging, West Ham or Everton or Leeds or something like that. I'd much rather he went to Spain. And I'd be interested to see how he copes and whether his game moves on and all the rest of it. The problem is he's playing like a man who is distracted. He's playing like a man, or the perception is that he's just not quite there. And I think at top level sport, if you're 1% or 2% off, it starts to show. And frankly, I don't think he could have kept up the high standards of performance because he was pinging them in from 25 and 30 yards. He was running from the halfway line and scoring goals. And we have one of the lowest XGs in the division. And so if those chances stop going in, you don't score goals because we don't create a great deal. So I have a lot of sympathy for the lad. But right here, right now, we need Ben Brereton Diaz that came back from the Chilean national team in the summer and was unstoppable. And what we've got is the raw Ben Brereton that joined us from Nottingham Forest and looked out of his depth. So we just need to bring that guy back for 5 games and then he can go with all our love. Should our fans be booing him? Absolutely, categorically not. It's an absolute disgrace, frankly. And it smacks of, my girlfriend split up with me. I never fancied her anyway. It's a bit like one of those reactions. Football fans are fickle. Rovers fans are notoriously fickle. This isn't good. I don't think it reflects well on us as a fan base. But generally, it's a very small minority. But there is frustration around the place because we know how good he can be. We know the damage he can do. And just at the moment, he's a long way short of those heights of a couple of seasons ago, but he's still a very effective player. I think it's going to test Thomason's management to get the best out of him over the next 5 or 6 games, assuming we have 6 games, of course.
Ian, when you came to the CBS early on in the season, Barrington played on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Do you think that's affecting his performance? Because obviously he likes playing as a striker. Do you think that's
well?
Really
it's interesting because he does play through the middle for Chile, but equally they do use him wide occasionally. I think the thing about when he plays for Chile, it's his physique that interests them as much as anything else because he offers something so fundamentally different to any other forward that they've got. In his barnstorming season for us, that's where he played. He played out left. He drifted inside, caused havoc. And just as I say, his favourite move is to drop his shoulder, cut inside, and then ping it arching into the top corner or play a cross in or play a 1-2 and try and create. So there's nothing wrong with him playing in that position. there are folks that say, given Rovers' paucity of options up front, should we try him through the middle? And I think that would be interesting were it, say, September or October. But you've kind of got, you're at the last 5 games of the season. Do you really want to be experimenting right now? Yeah, there's pros and cons on both sides. He can be devastating from playing wide on the left. So I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is, he is coming to the end of his contract, and human nature being what it is, you've got, I have a lot of sympathy for the fact that, well, if I get injured, what happens then? Rovers offered terms. He's decided not to sign them. He's going to leave. I just hope that doesn't impact on the rest of the team as well, who look and sort of say, come on, mate, you're going to be pulling your weight now. We can't afford to carry a passenger. I think that's the bigger issue rather than his position.
I was going to ask you, Ian, out of the 5 games you've got left, who do you think, how many points do you reckon you're going to pick up out of them 5 games? Is the question.
I'm a notorious pessimist. So I start off always at the beginning of the season sort of saying, they're a tough side. They're going to beat us. Ooh, that'll be a difficult fixture.
Because you have got quite a hard run in, really, looking on it, compared with us.
We've got a really difficult run in. I think I saw something on Twitter that did the rounds a couple of weeks ago that said did the league position, the aggregate of league positions of the run in of all the teams in the playoffs, and ours was the worst, the most difficult by far. Now, there's 2 ways of viewing that. One is, would you rather it be in your own hands to be playing those teams around you? Personally, I'd say yes. Because if we're going to fail, if we're going to fall short, I don't want it to be because, they went to Huddersfield, and Huddersfield didn't turn up and they got 3 points there, and they went. I want it to be on our merits. So if we have to battle, and I think the good thing about it is everyone knows the score. Everyone knows that we're playing those teams round and about us. So if you're a goal down and there's 2 minutes to go, as we were at Huddersfield, you might as well put everything up there because you've got to get something out of the game. So there are people on the forum sort of saying, well, Coventry, that's a must win. And then there are others saying, well, is it? Or is it a must not lose? Because we're sort of in this like weird hinterland now as we get closer to the end of the season. What a lot of us are conveniently parking is that our game in hand is against Burnley. Now, if ever there was a game that sort of raises both teams to do strange and wonderful things, it's that fixture. I'm hoping that Burnley are on the beach by then. I'm hoping that they've got the league title wrapped up, and I'm hoping that they're flicking through holiday brochures as the referee blows the whistle. You've noticed that I'm not answering your question, and that's deliberate. I am a pessimist, so I will start off by sort of saying we are going to lose all 5 of those games, aren't we? Because we're Rovers. We will probably win the ones that you least expect. And like last night, everyone was sort of saying, well, Hull City, that's the easiest of our running. So we've got to get 3 points. We'll be up for it tonight. There'll be no problem. And we played poorly. Huddersfield away, I've got to win that one. Forget Neil Warnock. Huddersfield, got to win that one. And the game on Wednesday was marked down one of those, crikey, Coventry, they're on a bit of a run. They've got a couple of tasty lads up front. I'm not sure about that. Maybe we'll take a point from that. But it will be just like Rovers to win on Wednesday. You can't predict us this season. It's impossible to predict us. Nobody, you could watch all our training sessions, all our games, and have no idea at kickoff how they're going to perform. I can usually tell you after about 10 minutes. I think that usually you get a sense of the pace of play and the energy and all the rest of it. And right now, as I say, the analogy I would use is we are that marathon runner that's in the last lap of the stadium and has kept looking over the shoulder as people are getting nearer and nearer and nearer. And that's what worries me is that, to get a second wind at that point is going to be incredibly difficult. But in Rovers history, we have done it. We never do things the easy way. We always sort of make it difficult for ourselves. So why not this season?
Well, we all know it's a competitive league. Anybody on the day can beat anybody, whether you're at the bottom or the top.
Absolutely.
As we all know. You just got to be on it on the day, haven't you? And if you're not on it, you get turned over.
Absolutely, yeah. We've seen both sides of that. We've played teams that have just been below par, and we've come away with some excellent wins, and we ourselves haven't turned up, and we've got done over by teams that on 99 times out of 100 you'd expect us to win. So Wednesday we know is going to be a difficult match. It's at home, but frankly, so what if we can't beat Hull? Does that home advantage make any real difference? Sometimes being away from home and having an opponent coming onto us plays into our strengths. So we are hoping that you see it as a chance to get above us, that you will attack us relentlessly, leave huge amounts of space between your back four and your goalkeeper. We'll just ping these lovely diagonal balls to Ben Barrett and Diaz, and we'll cut inside and curl one into the top corner. If you can do that 3 or 4 times, that'd be terrific.
We've been talking about yesterday and today. We've been talking about how many points you think you're going to need to secure the 6th place. We've got 4 games left. Some people are saying on here we need 3 more wins. Some are saying 2 wins and 2 draws. What do you realistically think how many points are going to nick the 6th place?
Well, that's an interesting one. We have an ongoing column on our website. One of our writers has done this piece, The Crystal Ball. I think we're up to part 3 now. And he does an optimistic prediction and a pessimistic prediction. And I think we're below his pessimistic prediction now after Easter. And he started off way back when he did this, probably a couple of months ago now, sort of saying it's 75, 76. That's what you need. And as we've got to this point of the season, he says, well, hang on a minute, everyone's playing each other. They can't all get maximum points. So actually, maybe it's 73, 74. And then after the weekend, again, some other people have replied to this on the forum and said, yeah, but there's this and there's this and this. I think 72 might be enough. and I'm wondering whether somebody might actually sneak in with something like 68 because everyone's just sort of dying as they get closer to the line. We are on, I'm just looking at the league table now, 63 points, 5 games to go. Let's discount the Burnley game. We'll not take anything from that. 4 games to 6, 7. I think if we finish on 70, we'll do very well. And I think we'll be probably just a point or 2 short. I think 71, 72 is probably going to be, if you've not got 71, 72, I think you're probably just going to fall short. But I think it will be the lowest 6th place for a few seasons.
I was thinking
comment coming here, Rob, from Rob Nichols. Why 4,000 holes?
Oh, I'm so glad somebody's asked that. This must be a young person. Rob, you must be young. Ken, I'm looking at you. Can you answer that? Or
no, I can't. No,
you can't. Splendid. Excellent. Right, here we go. Sit back, plump up your cushions. So the 4,000 holes fanzine, I have the latest copy here, given this is a visual medium, started in the late 1980s. And it was started by someone who was familiar with the work of the Beatles, a popular beat combo from Liverpool in the 1960s. And the last track on Sgt. Pepper is a song called A Day in the Life. And
somebody's put that up, haven't they? Yeah.
Have they? Right.
There, look.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. 4,000 holes in Blackburn, Lancashire. Yeah. Now they know how many holes it takes to fill the Albert Hall is the line. So when the fanzine started in the late 80s, I think the editor was a fan of the Beatles and used that. And so that carried through. And when the fanzine was sort of rebirthed a few years ago, and we've just rebranded the podcast to tie in with it. So 4,000 holes is now the fanzine and the podcast because a lot of the contributors to one contribute to the other as well. So it comes in. So it's a bit quirky. It's a bit different. And as you can tell, I like answering that question because it gives me a chance to talk about the Beatles, which is no bad thing for someone of my age, isn't it?
Yes.
You did. And Glenn's popped up, says, have the demons from previous seasons under Tony Mowbray resurfaced again this season?
The great February slump. We're doing it differently this year, though. I think under Tony Mowbray, it was like somebody jumping out of an airplane without a parachute. What we've got now is a light aircraft that's got one engine stuttering, and we drop 1,000 feet, then we level off, and then we drop 500 feet, then we level off. So we're doing it differently. I think this season, it's more about the fact that our team is very young. I will cut them some slack. There are a lot of young lads in the team. I think we've got one of the youngest squads, albeit that our starting 11s usually are there or thereabouts because he compensates. And I think it's a real test of character. And I think you'll learn a lot about players under pressure. And we're getting to that part of the season now where every game is a must-win. Somebody likened it to it. So, we're almost like in round 3 of the FA Cup, and we have to win every game to win the FA Cup up from that point. And we've got to win every game now if we're going to get in the playoffs and progress thereafter. So it's really quite different, I think, than under Mowbray, where it seemed that everyone was really, really confident until the transfer window closed. And then all the players sort of were relieved that we haven't signed anybody to replace them. So, that's me under contract for end of the year. I don't need to worry about this. I think the classic one was winning 2 in 17 under Mowbray. I think that was the worst fall off. And at that point, you kind of knew that his time was up. So there are echoes, but equally, I think it is slightly different. We've been very binary this season. We're sort of we were the team that refused to draw in the early part of the season. So it was win, 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 loss, 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 win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, win, loss, loss kind of thing. And then eventually we drew a game, and then we quite liked it. So we went draw, draw, draw. And the last couple of games we've gone draw, draw. So it's familiar territory, but we've arrived at the destination from a different route, I think, to answer that question.
It's interesting because Diaz, despite all the criticism, is still comfortably your top goal scorer.
He's
got 14 goals. And
a
few of the others, Tyrese Dolan, Sam Gallagher, lots of 6 and 7 goals, but still Diaz is still comfortably.
Exactly. And that's why I think that the criticism of him is harsh and unwarranted. Perhaps, inverted commas, understandable, perhaps, maybe, but to vocalise it in the ground in the way that happened last night, I think is pretty poor, really. But replacing him in the summer is going to be a massive task. Yeah.
What sort of style of football would you expect Rovers to play for this game under Thomason? Is it more of a passing move type of football, or is it sort of,
we seem to have invoked this methodology where each team, each age group side will play to the same style. And Greg Broughton, the new director of football that came in the summer, has this belief that if you play a passing style from the back, that makes your players more marketable. And we're all about, our crowds aren't particularly good. Our commercial income isn't particularly high. We're a town team. We're not a city side. Blackburn and the neighbouring districts aren't the wealthiest area, shall we say. So the good folks of Blackburn have lots of different things to spend their money on, including, as we all have there, heating your house and eating food and all that sort of stuff, as well as season tickets. So it's difficult to get folks in through the door. So it has meant that our academy and the players that come through that academy is going to be where we make our money. So the idea is you do a class of 92 type thing. You have 5 or 6 youngsters coming through. Maybe you sell 1 or 2 of them for 10, 15 million. That pays for your academy for another 5 or 6 years, and you bring another 2 through, and so on and so on. And to be fair, the crop of youngsters that's come through in the last 2 or 3 seasons has been excellent. Our best for years and years and years. So we've really got to keep going on that. We've got to keep producing people along those lines. So it means that we have a very, very heavy reliance on that production line. It means that we have to just constantly keep almost like marketing them. It's like polishing rough diamonds and getting us to that point where you hopefully get enough through at the same time that will get you into that top 6. There is a feeling this season that there was an opportunity, but it was an unexpected opportunity. I don't think many people expected us to be up there. And Thomason keeps playing that back in the media. Bless him. On every Radio Lancashire interview that he does. Well, of course, at the beginning of the season, nobody expected us to be here. Yeah, please take the pressure off me. Please take the pressure off me. And it's a fair observation. But when you're there, you kind of got to take the opportunities. Yeah, you really... They don't come along that often. And if we get a couple of our youngsters cherry-picked and we lose Brereton Diaz in the summer, it's going to be difficult to stand still, never mind challenge again next season. So it's tough. It's really difficult.
Got a question here from Kyle Holly about Sorba Thomas. He looks a decent player. Is he a player that could be starting on Wednesday?
He's another hot and cold. He gives us something different that we haven't got in the squad, so I can see why they brought him in. Very, very pacey, very direct. Excuse me. Get to the byline, whip a crossing, run hard at the fullback. So when he first came, he really impressed. I think his first 2 or 3 appearances, he was pretty much up there in our man of the match polls. He couldn't play against Huddersfield, of course, being his parent club, but he didn't start last night. He came on as sub. Will he start? Wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. I think we were so pedestrian last night and so one-paced that he is the variable in the equation that gives us something a little bit different. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him start.
Yeah.
Here's a comment from Claudio for you. Did Ian watch the Netflix series, The English Game, based on Darwin FC and Blackburn Rovers? My father-in-law followed both and gave him the book, The Underdogs, that the series was based on. Did you watch it? I watched it. It was very good.
I did. I really
game.
enjoyed it. They took a few liberties with the truth, of course, because what they did in the series was they merged the histories of Blackburn Olympic and Blackburn Rovers to make it a generic Blackburn team. But the one thing that the Netflix producers did, which is absolutely unforgivable, was they had the generic Blackburn team wearing maroon shirts. I won't say the word claret. Which, as soon as that happened in one of the episodes, there were people harumphing loudly in the East Lancashire area and saying this should not be allowed. But as a piece of entertainment, I really enjoyed it. I think it was probably 75% historically accurate. When it was talking about Fergie Suter and some of the main protagonists, all of that was absolutely bob on. But apparently the producers thought it would be too confusing for an American audience to have Blackburn Olympic and Blackburn Rovers, and it just made it too complicated. So they merged the two clubs. There's one of our podcast contributors. His son was an extra in it, which was really good.
Wow.
So we got to know the series was being made probably about 18 months before it came out, because he was telling us all about it. And I thought, wow, that sounds really exciting. But yeah, as a piece of television nonsense, I absolutely enjoyed it. Yeah, really good.
Brilliant.
Okay, let's go to predictions for this game on Wednesday night. Ian, I'll start with you. How do you see this game going?
One apiece.
One apiece on the fence.
I think we're in our draw phase, as I said. So drawing seems to be the thing that we're doing right now. So we'll carry on doing that, and we'll do another one on Wednesday.
Fair enough. Miles, are you feeling optimistic?
If Ben Wilson's wearing a green kit, we won't concede. If we're wearing the purple kit, I think we'll lose. Oh blimey! Do you know what I am? Oh man, you know what I'm like. I get really carried away, and I've said it since the beginning of the season, and I'm sticking by it. I think we're going to get sixth space. I really do think we're going to get it. There's just something about everyone slipping up around us. We're one game defeated in 14, and the way ticket sales are going since yesterday about the game, I think we're probably nearly going to be taking 2,500 up there. To be honest with you. If Ben Wilson's wearing the green shirt, I'm going to say 2-0. If he's wearing a different coloured shirt, I'm saying 2-1. We're going to win it. There's something about it. We're that close. We're that close. And,
I love football supporters' rational thinking, don't you? About I think we all have our superstitions, don't we? If I can get my favourite parking space, we'll win today. It's one of those. I'm wearing my lucky underpants.
Ben Wilson says that he don't concede a goal when he's wearing his green shirt. And
right.
He didn't yesterday. He didn't at Swansea. And I've just got. It's just something about this season. We had a crap start to the season. I just think I really believe we're going to nick it. I think we're going to nick it. 2-1 if he's not wearing his green shirt. 2-0 if he is.
Okay, fair enough. Kenneth?
I think it's going to be a close game, obviously. It'll probably be nervous for both teams in many different ways. But I think if we continue to play the way we did on Saturday with the momentum we've got, scoring 3 goals away from home, which is great, and the performance overall was really good. I don't think we'll concede. I think we're going to sneak it 1-0. I think it's going to be 1 goal in it. I think we're going to sneak it 1-0. I just got a funny feeling it'll be a tight game and be 1 goal in it. And I think it might just go to us, I think.
It's going to be 5-4 now, isn't it?
Yes.
Something like that. Before Mark sits on the fence, the last 4 games reminds me of early on in the season when we played Luton. We lost before we played Luton. We had a poor first half against Luton. So we lost against who was it we lost against? Stoke 4-0. Yeah. Then we drew at Swansea. We had a poor first half against Watford. We pulled it back to 2-2. And then after that Luton game, we went on and won the next game. We went on and won the next game on Saturday against QPR. I think we're doing it again. I think that's why I'm saying it.
Well, yeah, you can never tell. I mean, it'd be lovely if we can use that logic going forward for games like this. I think we can win this game. I think Blackburn, as Ian alluded to earlier, I think are not in great form, although they do need a win. But we both need a win. But my only slight concern about this game is I think there was too many misplaced passes when we were 1-0 up against QPR yesterday. And if you're up against some probably a better side like Blackburn, they've got players that can cause us problems. So it's that's my slight concern. But I think it was so important we got that win yesterday because it gives us confidence now ahead of Blackburn. I think it's definitely a game we can definitely get a result. So I think I'm getting a lot of comments I'm reading at the moment saying, Mark, no.
I'm still say no, Mark.
I'm loving that the three of you are so optimistic, by the way, because that cancels my negativity, man.
Yeah, no.
Honest, no, Mark, no. Don't do it.
As a result, my positive, so I'm going for a 1-1 draw, of course. So, yeah.
Bottle this at the last.
Yeah.
That's on the fence again. He does it every week. Ian, there's a story behind this, right? Nearly every game, Mark sits on the fence. Or when we played Swansea last week, he goes, "We're going to lose 3-1."
That's what I tend to do when I'm invited to do these things, which happens 2 or 3 times a season. I can't tip my side to win, because to me that's just inviting the football gods to go, oh, you think you're going to win, do you? Oh, well, we'll see about that. So I sort of say, best we're going to get is a draw. But I think you never tempt the footballing gods, in my experience, because they have a way. So I'm with you, Mark, I have to say.
Oh, I appreciate that. Ian, it's been great having you on. Thanks for your time, and
really enjoyed it. Thank you.
All I guess.
Cheers, Ian.
I say I wish you luck after this game, but not too much luck. We want that 6th spot in the best possible way, or maybe it's a scenario where we'll both get in the playoffs, maybe. So that might be good. So, but yeah, great speaking to you, Ian, and hope it'll be a cracking game on Wednesday.
Thanks, gents. Enjoyed it.
Cheers, guys. Cheers,
Ian.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Ken, we've got competition details. Oh, not competition, player of the season deals, haven't we? Sorry.
Well, I'll just remind you of the competition since that you mentioned it. We have doing the draw for the competition, and we have, if you go on our social media channels, and if you look on the messages below the screen right now, you'll see all the winning numbers. There has been a few already claimed, but there is still a few not being claimed. So if you email us with a picture of your winning business card with the number clearly showing, then we will get your prizes off to you ASAP. So don't forget, you've got to take a picture of the card with the number clearly showing, and the numbers are on the bottom of the screen. Or if you haven't got them, or if you missed them, you can go on our social media channels, and the numbers will be on there. I say some good prizes up for grabs, so make sure you claim if you've got a winning number. Also, we've got Player of the Season again. Yeah, it's that time of year again. Player of the Season. It's nearly over, where we're opening the votes from this evening, really. If you want to start voting for your Player of the Season, I'm sure you've got a few candidates in mind. I know I've got mine. I'm sure the lads on the screen have got theirs as well. So, yeah, get your votes in. And for everybody that does enter this year, if you enter on any of our social media channels, just leave your details, obviously, with the player you're going to vote for. You will be entered into a prize draw to win one of 2 £25 meal and drinks vouchers to use at the Sky Blue Tavern. So you go into the prize draw as well. So get your votes in, and obviously, it's on the bottom. It's on the bottom of the screen now. His message or Facebook on Twitter on the screen now. Tell us your tell us your player this season for a chance to win one of 2 food and drink vouchers worth £25 each from the Sky Blue Tavern. Miles has cleverly put that on the bottom of the screen for us so we can all see it going along the bottom. So just email us basically your vote for player of the season, and I'm sure there's quite a few candidates. Miles, who would yours be?
Well, hold on a sec. Claudio's put in here, and I didn't think this was happening because I got told
Oh.
yesterday this wasn't allowed. But Claudio's put up here: the club are allowing presentations of the players' season of the year awards on the night, so we can give it out on the 30th.
Oh, well, that's good then. So basically, you need to get your votes in by the Saturday, by the 29th then, so we can close it down 29th or the 28th it would be, wouldn't it? Or the 29th? The 29th on the Saturday. That's the Birmingham
29th.
game. That'll be the cut-off date for your votes. So we'll have the trophy made up, and then we can put the winning name of the player on the trophy. And then hopefully this year we won't have to wait so long to present the trophy. We have to wait quite a while to get hold of Big Vic. We eventually caught up with him at our fans forum the other week to present him with a trophy from last season. So hopefully we won't have to wait that long this time. And if we can do it at the awards night, which is coming up, which is nearly a sellout, by the way. There's not many seats left. It's a sellout now. Yeah, I know there weren't many seats, and they've got like a waiting list, haven't they, for available seats now? So yeah, it's going to be a great night, the awards night. We're all going. We've got a table. All our Sky Blue Fans TV mob will be there, plus a few extras. So we're looking forward to it. So yeah, if we can present the trophy on that evening, that'd be even better. So get your votes in by the Saturday. It's the Birmingham City game. That's the cut-off point. Get all your votes in, and we'll get a winner ready and get all the trophy signed up, so we know we can present the trophy and we'll announce the winner on our show. We'll only have a show on that Sunday. We'll have a show on the Monday evening where we'll give you some highlights of what went on at the awards evening, and we can tell you obviously the results of our winning poll on which players won the award, and of course who's won the two £25 vouchers in the draw. We'll do the draw on the same night. So there you go.
Yep. Just a quick one though. People are putting comments in here telling us who the player of the season is on here. If you can email us or if you can send us a message on Facebook or Twitter, because we want to do a spreadsheet, we want to put all the names together. We want to count up who's got the most votes to win that award. So if you can email your votes, that would be great at info@skybluefanstv.co.uk, or if you can DM us on Facebook or Twitter, that would be even better as well. So if you can do that, that would be fantastic, because we can't get everyone's player of the season from the comments on here because we're presenting, so we can't take it all down. But Vicky in the background, when we send all the names, she's going to put them on the spreadsheet, and we will then get the player of the season. You asked me who mine would be. I'm not going to give it away now because that would just be not right. But
it can't be Callum O'Hare, obviously, because he hasn't played enough games.
Yes, it can.
Oh, can it? Oh, go on then.
Callum, it could be Callum O'Hare if I want it to be Callum O'Hare.
I don't think it will be this year, but go on.
No, it won't be this year. Mike Davenport's just said Walker for Miles. Oh God, please don't! I'm still getting over my chest infection. I've got it down to 4.
4?
That's all I'm going to give away. I've got it down to 4 now so far this season. Yeah, it's. I love it, Glenn. Glenn's coming. He says Ben Sheaf or Casey Palmer. Yeah, it could be. Now I've got 4. I've got between 4. I don't know who I'm going to give it to just yet, but I'm going to see how we get on over the next couple of games, and then I'll give you my man and my player of the season.
Well, look, Andy reckons it's going to be Ben Wilson. Now he's a contender for me. Yes, definitely a contender. Yeah. So does Glenn. He reckons Ben Wilson as well. I'm sure we'll get a few votes. Mark, who will you go for?
I'd say my top 3. I think number 3 is Ben Wilson, number 2 is Gustavo Hamer, and Victor number 1, Victor Gyökeres.
Oh, well, okay.
Number of goals and assists. He's won us a lot of points this season. Ben Wilson obviously is a strong candidate because of 19 clean sheets. Hamer, I think, has been fantastic as well. He had a bad start with a couple of red cards, but since then his performances have been really good. He's been scoring goals. I think another nod to Jamie Allen. I think he's had a very good season as well. He's had a lot of critics. I've been a critic of him, but he has been chipping with some goals and assists. So I think he deserves a mention as well.
Yeah. Well, don't forget, get your votes in. But you've got to do it by email or by any of the social media channels, and then you go into the draw, obviously, to win a £25 voucher as well. So if you do it properly, you'll go into a prize draw as well, and then we can count your votes as they come in. That'll be fantastic, Mark.
Cool. Right. Well, that wraps up tonight's show. So thanks, Miles and Ken, Victoria and Ian for coming on tonight. It's been a really enjoyable show. I hope everyone listening has enjoyed it as much as we have. We've got another show on Thursday night, which will be hopefully talking about a great win at Blackburn. We've got a ready guest from the Elm Royals pod who will be coming on Thursday night. I think either Ken or Miles will be presenting that one. I've got the night off because I'm working late, sadly. But
good enough.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I'll be getting myself sacked for that for missing the show. So yeah, but no, it should be an exciting week. And then we've got another show reviewing the Reading game. The Reading game, hopefully with a win to talk about. So yeah, there's plenty of shows to look forward to. And as I say, email us with your choice of player of the season, and obviously every vote counts. So which leads me to say thanks everyone tonight. Play up Sky Blues, and we'll speak to you
Sky Blues
on Thursday. So speak to you on Thursday.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Good
bye.
night. Good night, all.